Great time of the sporting year this, Donny, isn't it? Great to see the start of the Six Nations round the corner again, and actually this year particularly big one for them, I guess.
Yes, 20th anniversary kicked off in the year 2000 as the Six Nations, used to be 5 and previously 4 as well. England bidding for a 7th title since the turn of the century. Great news for Northampton Saints' George Furbank, who win his first England cap in their opener against France. Courtney Lawes also starts with Lewis Ludlam on the bench. Of course, it's England's first outing since their World Cup final defeat to South Africa. And while they had to settle for runners-up medals in Japan, their achievements do seem to have given the sport a boost in this country, especially at grassroots level. Kevin Ashford reports.
Training night for the latest generation of rugby enthusiasts. And like many across the country, St Neots Rugby Club has seen a spike in interest in the game after the World Cup.
It does two things. I mean, one is the kids start talking about it at school, so their mates get interested, so they bring along their friends to play. We've seen, as I think you've witnessed this evening, we've had 2 new kids turn up this evening for the first time, so it's still going. And in the seniors, there's lots of people who get off the couch. They've been able to see it on the telly, and now they're saying, right, I can do that.
I think it's the fact that I saw it on TV, I got inspired to come down to the club and play, and I've just enjoyed it from there on.
Quite inspiring also for England to get to the finals. Maybe it wasn't that great that we didn't win, but it was really inspiring.
Participation levels for rugby union have dipped slightly in recent years. More than 250,000 people were playing at least twice a month in 2016. Falling to less than 225,000 last year. But the RFU says after the World Cup, 15,000 new players turned up at clubs up and down the country, leading to 5,000 new registrations. There was a similar boost in interest when England won the World Cup in 2003, although the rugby authorities were criticised by some for failing to capitalise on it. This time, though, they say they were ready with support, like handing out 10,000 free rugby balls to clubs.
What we've learned since then is the need to invest up front before a Rugby World Cup, which of course you can end up getting criticised of as well if you go out in the early stages, but really important to invest up front to make sure that when the tournament itself happens, that we've got enough pitches for people to play on, we've got enough balls for people to handle, and we've got enough coaches and referees to make it happen.
The 2019 Rugby World Cup in Japan was the culmination of 4 years of planning for England, and the side came desperately close to sporting glory, only to fall short in the final, losing 32-12 against South Africa. Well, things have moved on for the England men's team since that final in Japan. There are 8 new caps named in the Six Nations squad, and those in charge say new tournament, new start.
Definitely, I think you go through a grieving process. It's like losing something. You work for a long period of time with a group of players. You want to achieve the goal and you don't get it, so you lose something and you've got to accept that you've lost something. Definitely had 4 or 5 weeks where I had to get over it, but I've found the right level of what I need to go forward and right to go now.
England's women, who had their World Cup in 2018, are the current Six Nations champions. Their captain says interest in the game continues to rise, as do playing standards, both for them and their opponents.
You can see how teams progressed over years, like Italy in finishing second last year. There's no doubt that that's because teams are progressing, and some of the fixtures, and I think in previous years you might have been able to go, right, this team's going to win that game, that team's going to win this, but I think now it's like sort of it really depends on the match itself.
The rugby authorities will be hoping the Six Nations sustains the World Cup wave of interest in the sport, and a few England wins will certainly help with that. Kevin Ashford, ITV News.